is going on? Welcome to the channel. Alright, so quick FSD beta video for you all here today. What we are doing is heading down Georgetown Pike here in the morning. It's a really wet, rainy morning, cloudy. It's just kind of crappy weather overall, and we're gonna put FSD beta to the test. Perfect scenario in this type of weather to really test it out, and this is one of the most perfect roads to test it. So starting with this stoplight, we need to make a right, and notice how I saw the truck coming, waited, and as soon as the truck passed, it made a smooth right. All right, so here we go. We are officially going down Georgetown Pike now, and we're looking at about a 10-minute drive down this road, and it leads us into Route 7, which is on my way to work. So this is one of my favorite roads to test FSD down. I have been testing FSD down this road since 10.12. 10.12. That was the original version that I started on FSD when it was still in beta program. And yeah, I actually bought the car with FSD, and for the first like I don't know, 3 months of the car, all I had was autopilot and traffic aware cruise control. And so it was actually a kind of a blessing in disguise that I got to learn all aspects of the car instead of just jumping straight into supervised FSD. For me, it started, like I said, as first time I got into Tesla, I actually didn't know how to activate autopilot. So what I did was I was driving down Route 7, first time driving the car, and yeah, so I hit the gear stock down one time, and I noticed, like, a little ding popped up, and then the car started basically doing the pedals for me. And at that moment, I actually thought that was autopilot. It's so funny because I wasn't too aware. And then I kept thinking, I'm like, wait a second, I know I saw Holmars post some self-driving videos, and I know I bought FSD. It's got to do more than that, right? So for like the first couple weeks, I was trying to figure out how to turn FSD on, knowing that I bought it, but it just never happened. So then I finally figured out how to use autopilot by double tapping it down. At the time it was double tap, and then yeah, I got real comfortable understanding autopilot. And I'm gonna make a separate video on the differences between autopilot and FSD, because it occurred to me that people need to realize. But anyways, back to the story. I was using autopilot. I learned how to use it. I had the car for about 3 months, and I was checking for FSD beta updates for the first 3 months, and it never came in. So what I did, which I thought was really interesting looking back on, because I don't know if I didn't do this, if it would have ever come or not. So I actually went ahead and emailed fsdbeta@tesla.com, and now if you try this today, you're going to get an email back saying that this email is no longer monitored because it has gone wide. I'm talking about before this went wide. I'm talking about back when we were in just beta. There was only 100,000 people in the entire world that had FSD. So back to that moment where I emailed Tesla. I said, hey, look, I live in the DMV area, and I'm looking online, and I don't see anyone posting videos in the DMV area, or just I even searched Twitter at the time, and I was searching up and down, and there was no one in the DMV area that had FSD. So I asked them, I said, hey, look, I just bought my car, and I would like to have FSD, available. And they actually emailed me back, and they said, thanks for the email. We're going to forward this to the team that sends out the updates. And I want to say it was in June, maybe. No, I'm sorry, it was March. It was March of 2022, and I had got the car in November of 2021. right-ish, December, November. I ordered the car in November, got it in December. And wow, look at this car coming out of nowhere. So they emailed me back and they were like, okay, we're gonna send you FSD. And I just couldn't believe it. And then all of a sudden, one day in March, I got added from 100 to 150,000. I was included in that extra 50,000 people. And I believe I was one of the first people in the DMV area that got FSD enabled on their car. Now, I'm not saying I was the first person in the DMV area that used FSD on their car, because there are some videos on YouTube of people driving down Route 7 in Tyson's Corner when FSD was still like boxes and lines. So there, and I remember the guy saying that he was from out of town and he was driving through. So with all that being said, I then met up with Strength Plan. Shout out to Strength Plan. And if you don't follow him on YouTube and X, make sure you follow him. I shortly met up with him a few months later, actually. So by that time, I had already had a channel up doing some of my initial testing. And that is when Strength Plan started doing, I don't know who got it first, it's not a big deal, but he was the first person that I saw in this area that also had FSD. And then shortly after that, you know, it went wide, and you know, and then it went to supervised, out of beta. Fast forward to today, Cybertruck has FSD, and you know, there's so many improvements from the point where I got the car to where we are today, and it's been incredible to watch. I'm a true believer in the stock as well, because I'm an FSD beta driver and user, pilot, whatever you want to call it. And because of that, you know, I believe in the company. But at the same time, this is not financial advice, but you know, I don't know how to put it. I remember when Tesla stock hit 250 and I thought that was pretty good. And I think this morning it's sitting somewhere around 350. So that's pretty incredible. But a lot of times, speaking historically, whenever things surge, they tend to, you know, even out a little bit. So we might see 300 or 400, who knows. Either way, I think Tesla stock is a buy. It's all about dollar cost average. So if you do open a position today and it goes down, the key is to buy in chunks. You never want to go all out and just buy it up. For example, Bitcoin, if you had bought it at 98,000 and you bought a whole one, and then boom, it went back down to like 92,000, wouldn't you wish that you just bought half of it? Now look at that. FSD just took the most difficult turn on this entire route in the rain with no problem whatsoever, and it always stops at this cone, and I have to nudge it through, which I'm not mad at. That cone has been there for like a week or two. But anyways, like I was saying, back to the Bitcoin. All right, shout out to anyone that has Bitcoin also. And yeah, like I said, you know, say hypothetically speaking, you decided to buy an entire Bitcoin, you had the money for it, and then the next day it goes down from 98 to 92,000. What do? You know, the real answer would be, there's two answers. You hold or you buy more. You never sell for a loss. You have to wait for it to go back up over the price that you had bought it at. So that's the key. But it would be smart, instead of buying a whole one and then, you know, just buy it in chunks. That's kind of my thing. Like, I try to, you know, take a little bit at a time and not think about having to get the entire thing, because sometimes it could be unattainable. $90,000 is a lot of money. I remember when Bitcoin was $10,000. So with that being said, you know, you can buy it in chunks. You could do 1% of a Bitcoin at a time. And right now that's somewhere around 900 to 1,000 bucks. So, you know, it's not cheap. But at the same time, again, just like I said with Tesla, it's one of those things that you want to open a position for. Not financial advice, but the name of the game is dollar cost average. All right, so yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This was a super fun one to shoot. Very clean driving by FSD here. It just phenomenally works. Please try it and test it out if you haven't yet. And if you have a Tesla, make sure you subscribe at least for a month. and now that the FSD trial is over. And yeah, you know, you can at least test it out from there. Hopefully you got to test it on the trial and see how it works for your daily commute. And drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your story during the FSD trial. And I want to thank everyone again for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This was, again, a great one to shoot. Very no takeovers, no intervention, clean FSD drive here down Great Falls, McLean, starting from 495. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And real quick, to make sure you follow Tesla Maryland and myself on X about the Tesla Light Show coming up here in the DMV area. We're doing it in Bowie, Maryland. So that will be on December 7th at 4 p.m. at the baseball stadium in Bowie. So yes, just drop a comment if you need any information on that, or make sure you register with Tesla Maryland. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And if whenever you're watching this, hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving holiday with you and your family, and enjoy the weekend off. Have a great day.